Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Friday, July 16th, 2021. Today, in the morning, I heard a lot of kids saying, I asked everyone, what did you have for breakfast? And a lot of people said bread. So I thought today I would teach you one of my favorite easy sandwiches to make. This is called a grilled cheese sandwich. Super easy. You need a frying pan. This is a non-stick pan. That means nothing will stick on here. So I need that. That's ready. I have a spatula, also very important for flipping this sandwich. I have some really good bread that I bought. I like really good bread. I don't love the supermarket bread. This is from a special place, and the man, he makes this bread by himself. I have some butter, and I have some cheese, the most important thing. And I need a knife, and I have my cutting board. And later, when your sandwich is finished, you can use some kind of sauce. This is ketchup. I also like to use something spicy, some hot sauce. So I'm gonna mix these two together, but I think you can just try it with ketchup. It's super, super yummy. Okay, so I'm gonna show you a little bit about how to make a grilled cheese sandwich. It's really easy to do. Mom and Dad can help, and it only takes about 5 minutes. Okay, so here I am at my cutting board, and the first thing I want to do is get 2 nice pieces of bread. So these are pretty good size. Now I'm going to cut a few slices of cheese that will go onto the bread. I don't want them to be too thick, so I'm probably gonna cut them just about like this thick. If it's too thick, it won't cook. And what we want all the cheese to melt, okay? Just like the book we read yesterday. It said the snow melts. So today what we wanna do, we want the cheese to melt. All right, so I'm cutting some slices. They're all the same. And I'm just trying to fit them inside. You can go over top a little bit. It's not too bad. Okay. This is a really easy thing to make at home. Try to use good cheese, real cheese. It will taste better. But if you have cheese slices, that's okay too. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's just do one more. Like that, and just put that here in the middle. Cheese is finished. That can go back to my fridge. All right, so now we just put this piece on top like that, fit it, push it down a little bit, and now we're gonna start cooking it. Okay, we're ready to start cooking. So what we wanna do first is I'm gonna do a nice low heat. You do not want too high. If your heat is too high, you're gonna burn the bread on the outside and you won't cook the cheese on the inside. We want it to melt. So we'll call this a low medium heat, all right? And we wanna wait for that to get warm. I'm gonna use about this much butter. This is salted butter. This is my favorite. I don't like the one that doesn't have salt in it. So this is about a tablespoon of butter. Put that right down in the middle, like that. And we're just gonna wait for that butter to melt. You can move it all around like this. That'll make it go a little faster. But we don't wanna cook this thing too quick, okay? It looks like a lot of butter, but actually it's delicious, so don't worry about that too much. So let's wait for that butter to melt. Okay, our butter is now ready. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna take my sandwich and I'm gonna gently place it in and just give it a little bit of a rub here, just so it doesn't stick. So it gets a little bit of that butter, and that's it. We're gonna leave it. I have my spatula, and I think it's probably gonna be about 2 minutes on this side, maybe 1 or 2 minutes, and then we're just gonna flip it. Another thing you can do is move it around a little bit, and when you hear that sound, it sounds a little rough, that means it's starting to cook nicely on the bottom. So I'm gonna flip it, and I'm hoping that we got a little bit of color. Carefully flip. Now look at that beautiful golden color, that's what we want. So now we flip it, we gotta move it around again. Let it get some of that yummy butter, and then put it right back in the middle. You can even push this down a little bit. That helps get that cheese melting inside, because that's what we really want. That's why I'm using a low to medium heat, because I want the bread and the cheese to cook at the same time. I don't want the bread to cook too quickly, or the cheese inside will just stay cold. Another good thing to do is, when you want to make this, take your cheese out of the refrigerator, maybe just 10 minutes before. It really helps that it's room temperature. If it's too cold and you try to make this, it's not going to cook. You're going to burn your bread, and the cheese inside will stay hard. And you can also check. You can just sort of lift it up and see it's starting to melt really nicely. Another good thing to remember is, when you flip it, the second side is always going to cook a little bit faster, because now it's all warm. So I did 2 minutes on this side, but I might only need 1 minute on the other side. So let's just look. Yeah, not too bad. You can see that this side's much drier. That means it didn't get all that butter. So what I'm gonna do is move it around a little more. I'm using my hands. You please don't do this at home. Okay? You can see that it's starting to smoke a little bit. So that means I am about done, okay? I turn that off, and so now I'm gonna just let it sit there for a second longer. The heat's off now. Give it another flip. Pretty nice color here. Get a little bit more of that butter. And I'm gonna move this over to my plate. Okay, there's my grilled cheese sandwich. Going back to the cutting board. Another very important step is, if you're not sure, if you didn't open it and check if the cheese is melted or not, a good thing you can do is just wait a second, because right now it's still too hot to eat anyway. So just give it a minute, just let it sit a minute and cool down, and all of that hot heat from the bread and butter, it's now getting inside, so it's helping to cook the cheese a little bit longer, all right? So I'm gonna move that over here, and I'm gonna use a little bit of ketchup. Just gonna put a little ketchup on the side like that. And I'm gonna get a little bit of hot sauce because I like spicy, but I think you should just try it with ketchup. And now I'm ready, so I'm gonna cut it in half. You can hear that crunchy bread. It's quite hot. And you can see inside, look at that, the cheese is melting perfectly. So really easy recipe. Give it a try at home. I'm sure it will be one of your favorites. Have a good weekend, everybody.